भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो 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 भगवते वासुदेवाय
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
धीरये नष्टाचार्षु अभद्रेषु
नष्टाप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भगवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवते उत्तमश्लोके
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
Reading from Canto 3, the status quo, Chapter 5, Vidura talks with Maitreya. We're continuing, text 7. Krida vidate vijago suranam Shemaya karmani avatara vedai Mano na tripyati abhishrinvatam na Shusloka maule charitamritani You may narrate also about the auspicious characteristics of the Lord in his different incarnations for the welfare of the twice born, the cows and the demigods. Our minds are never satisfied completely, although we continuously hear of his transcendental activities. So for those who didn't come yesterday, we are now at the point where Vidura, after many days staying in Yamuna, he comes to Haridwar. He travels up north and he meets with Maitreya Rishi, who Uddhava told him to consult. So then he started asking him questions. So this is some of the questions that we are hearing. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord appears in this universe in different incarnations, like Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, and Narasimha. And the reason he appears is for the welfare of the
Twice.
particularly here in the verse it says Dvija. Dvija go Suranam. That means for the welfare of the twice born, the cows and the demigods, Suranam. Prabhupada says the Lord is directly concerned with the twice born or civilized man. Twice born means he must be civilized. That's the criteria. Prabhupada's point is if you want to take second initiation, you must have certain qualification. A civilized man is one who has taken his birth twice. Doesn't mean he dies and takes birth again. It's not like that. A living entity takes birth in this mundane world due to the union of male and female. A human being is born due to the union of the father and mother, but a civilized human being has another birth by contact with a spiritual master who becomes the actual father. So that is the difference. It means it takes a normal birth, but then if he is not guided spiritually, he's still in the lower aspects of life. Maybe he could be like an animal because there's no culture in it. One who is civilized means he has culture behind him. Particularly here, what is the culture? Vedic culture, Brahmanical culture, or Varnashram Dharma. It is properly followed. So if one talks about taking birth, we all have taken birth millions of times. We don't even know how many times actually. But that is not the qualification for being Dvija. Dvija means you need to actually be trained again within the same life that you took a mundane birth by a person who has spiritual authority. So for us, our spiritual master, our authorities, Siksha Gurus and so on. So they guide us to a point where we can take initiation from a spiritual master. And then of course, cow protection is very important. Why cow protection is important?
For the Brahminical culture to develop.
Cow's
How?
milk produces ghee, and ghee is used
Yeah.
for sacrifices.
Okay, cow's milk is ghee for sacrifice. What else? Cow's milk
Is to help the
To help
finer
the
tissues.
brain tissues properly, finer tissues, Prabhupada mentions. Why we need that finer tissues in the human brain?
To understand the higher spiritual
Higher? What is this higher truths?
Spiritual truth.
Spiritual matters.
I think
So
there's something about the bull also.
we are talking about cows first.
No, but in cow protection we learn.
Yeah, so the bull is used to till the land and then establish all farming. But generally, this is the amazing thing about cows, the milk. Cows, when we say in general, means inclusive of bulls. You don't have to say.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There won't be cows without the
Would be
bulls.
saying,
We need to have bulls.
900,000
but we
cows,
have-
they are cows and bulls.
We won't have bulls without cows.
There are bulls. That means there are more than 900.
Oh, so 900,000 is just cows.
Yes.
So when Krishna takes out for grazing, it's just the female cows, not the
No, bulls also.
not the bulls.
Well, when Krishna took out, he was a young boy. He took out calves.
Calves.
Yeah, but then later on,
Later on,
It's bulls also.
when
Yeah.
we say cows, it's only cows he's taking out, or bulls too.
Bulls also.
both. In general, cows.
Actually, nobody refers to bulls and bulls.
Yeah.
I've
That's
I've
what I was saying.
That's what I was saying. It would be both. I'm just
Yes.
trying.
It's both actually. I've
They
recently
also
gone
have
through
to
that.
eat.
Huh?
It's both.
No, cows means both
They also have
bulls,
to eat mad cows.
bulls and cows. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop.
They will have this cow.
All right. So that's another reason, and Krishna himself likes the cows very much. So he likes to take care of his cows also. So if the cow is the mother of mankind because she gives the milk and we take the milk, Prabhupada says in one sense the bull is the father of mankind. So because they are providing us with our lifestyles
Grains.
and the grains, the tilling of the land and the milk, so many things, we have to protect the cows and bulls.
Prabhupada explicitly writes, a civilized man therefore expected to give all protection to the bulls and cows.
Yes. Actually, a civilized man, based on this, yes, they also should extend protection to all living entities. When you extrapolate, he will protect all living entities also. Now, in the next paragraph, Srila Prabhupada talks about the demigods and how they are also supporting life in the universe. The administrative, they arrange for living conditions. Of course, they have a better status life than us. Okay, that's a difference. So Prabhupada writes, the whole system of the material creation is planned so that the conditioned souls may have the opportunity for self-realization. So again, this is reiterated again. Prabhupada is saying this so many times, that the whole system is set up for us to get out of this material self-realization. One who takes advantage of such an arrangement is called a demigod or civilized man. So if you are following everything nicely, you are as good as a demigod. The cow is meant to help maintain such a high standard of living. So if you have a cow system of lifestyle, your life standard is actually much higher than what we have now. It's interesting. Of course, if you take care of a cow, you develop more of goodness predominantly. It's automatic. You have to take care of the cow, you have to clean the cow, you have to bathe them, you have to milk them, so many things. And then you have to get the cow dung and spread it around. All these things have to be done. So everything centered around the cow develops your mode of goodness.
Because cow is in mode of goodness.
Cow is also in the mode of goodness. And so when you take care of a cow, you become in the mode of goodness. You're forced to. The cow will talk. It will look up to you. The cow will think, "Where is my meal? Where's my water? Why are you not doing this?" The cow will be like that.
Maybe protest.
They become very intimate, and it brings out your mode of goodness. They are like that. They become very close to you, and then they also will fight. If you don't give them something, they get angry, just like
We went to Villa Vrindavan
we went to Villa Vrindavan.
3 years ago,
Hmm.
and there we saw that the dean of the psychology department is a devotee
Hmm.
in the university close by. So what she does is that she brings all these people who are not so normally, they're mentally challenged. Like maybe their hand-eye coordination is not working, or their mind is not proper, they're depressed and all. And
Okay.
then she brings those people there and she makes them feed the cows, play with the cows, brush the cows and all. So what they were telling us, the people who were taking care of the cows, that just by doing that, these people look more happy and their faculties have started developing.
Hmm.
Like somebody whose hand-eye coordination was not so good, was not able to walk properly, but like they are seeing a difference now that all these different things are developing.
You see, huh? Taking care of cow, they become very good.
And those
In
who
the
are
light?
depressed are
Yeah,
becoming
we can
happy. And with all those changes they see.
Ah, that's nice. Anyway, let's continue. That's good. You know, like Mataji is saying how in Villa Vrindavan, this professor brings people to take care of the cows in our temple, no?
Yes.
And then when they start, these people who are challenged, okay, so when they start working with the cows, their mental faculties start developing.
Because they also said, now I remember, they said that cows have this ability to reciprocate.
Hmm.
And sometimes these people, because of the way they are, they're not getting that also from the environment.
Yeah. So like I said, the cows can really reciprocate. So Prabhupada continues, the Lord's pastimes for the protection of the twice-born civilized men, the cows and the demigods are all transcendental. Alright, it's not mundane. His activities are always transcendental. But if you take ordinary literature, it's all mundane. It's just fictitious, or it doesn't make sense. It's based on material dealings, and if somebody kills somebody, that's the end. The person who's killed is gone, and the person who killed accumulates karma. Whereas in the Lord's pastime, when he kills a demon or not, the demon gets some benefit, and there's no such thing as a reaction for the Lord, because he is beyond all this. So, just like that, even Prabhupada mentions, even literatures in the mundane society, like the books, magazines, newspapers, they are all mundane. They won't give you much development spiritually. And then he says the difference between those kind of literature and Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is that one will help you become a liberated soul, or at least put you on the path of liberation. The other one will put you on the path of degradation. Yeah. Or at most, a good lifestyle. That's about mundane literature. But it cannot liberate us. It's not liberating. And the other thing Prabhupada says is the beauty of the traditional literatures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is that they never become old. They're never old. They have been read in the world by civilized men for the last 5,000 years and they've never become old. They are ever fresh to the learned scholars and devotees, and even by daily repetition of the verses of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no satiation for the devotees like Vidura. So, you will find that as you read every day, which most of you don't do, you will develop this taste, so-called taste. Actually, it's an attraction because the Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita are not different from the Supreme Lord Himself. Anything about the Lord or anything He speaks is non-different with the Lord. So the more you practice reciting, like Prabhupada says, daily repetition of verses, you don't find it boring. In fact, you find it very refreshing. In fact, it helps you become peaceful to begin with. Then it becomes very exciting just to read the verses. And then eventually you get liberated. Just simply reading. That's why I keep telling you all, daily you go home, read Krishna book before you sleep. 15 minutes, half an hour, it's not a big deal. I mean, you spend 15-20 minutes doing some mundane things. When you spend this, you'll find that after 2-3 days, your mind will start listening to the Lord's pastimes nicely. Because it's very attractive. And just like Vidura, he's not saying, I've had enough of Krishna conscious Katha. Right? He wants more. And this comes about when you put in the effort. It's not going to just develop because you've been initiated. No, initiated, why? Initiation means you're connected to perform this under the guidance of the spiritual masters, the acharyas, our sampradaya. They are giving the blessing for us to make the advancement. If you don't take advancement, whose fault is it? Yeah. It's once you take it seriously, you are assured of success. But if you don't take it seriously, you cannot blame anybody except yourself. Text 8. Yaistadvabede adilokanato lokana lokan saha lokapalan Achiklipadyatra hi sarvasattva Nikaya Vedo Dikrita Pratita. The Supreme King of all kings has created different planets and places of habitation where living entities are situated in terms of the modes of nature and work. And he has created their different kings and rulers. So everything is set up by the Lord already set it up. The Varnashram Dharma, the whole hierarchical system, demigods, everything is set up. Perfect. There's no situation where, like in mundane society, somebody gets appointed and then after a few months, the people under are not happy because the person cannot perform. But the system the Lord sets up is not like everyone is under. They're satisfied. Basically, most people are satisfied. So not only that, there's so many different places within the universe that are living entities. From the topmost Planet all the way to the bottom, everywhere there are living entities. Even in the layers surrounding the universe, there are living entities. There are living entities everywhere. So even in that situation, the Lord has appointed some individual, or some individuals due to their karma gets into a good position where they can be kings like that. So Prabhupada continues in the purport. In Bhagavad Gita, we find it said by the Lord that the living entities are sarvagata, or present in every sphere of life. So there is no doubt that on other planets there are also inhabitants like us, sometimes with greater intelligence and greater opulence. The living conditions for those of greater intelligence are more luxurious than on this earth. Even in the earth you can see some places people are very poor, right? Some places people are better, and in other places people are very well to do. Some countries are very poor, some countries are very wealthy, like that, right? You see, some countries are very intelligent, some countries are very foolish. In general, you can see. So it is there. We cannot change those things. It's always there. So in the upper planetary system, everything is very opulent. In the lower planetary system, you find there are planets where things are not so good. Hellish planets, particularly. Of course, there's lower heavenly planets also, subterranean heavenly planets also.
Even in the layers, there is opulence.
Yes, even in the out covering of the universe, the opulence is greater than the planets inside.
It's hard to.
Yeah, we cannot understand all. But if you read Brihad Bhagavatam, you'll see the opulence described.
So
It comes from gross to subtle. Huh?
the layers are not really planets, but there is still
The regions.
the regions
Yeah.
where people.
Our universe is covered by many layers. The elements are in their basic, and then the more gross they come, they go inside, become planets and so on. I mean, so it's set up like that, and Brahma just creates that. But the original coverings are made first, before even Brahma creates the demigods and other living entities in the different planets, which we are going to come to appreciate this creation, which will be spoken by Maitreya to do that. And within that region that covers, it is a huge, it totally covers, so much so that inside the covering, everything is darkness. Totally darkness. And the light is coming from either the effulgence of the Lord
Sun.
or the sun. And that's why there's one sun. That sun can only give life as far as it reaches.
This is the reason I think when Arjuna was taken,
No, it's inside.
I think when Arjuna and Krishna they wanted to meet Mahavishnu, when they are going through this universes, the Sudarshan Chakra was actually
Leading the
before
way.
leading, because there was no light.
Yes.
Completely dark.
Yeah, if you read Krishna book, Arjuna and Krishna are going to see Mahavishnu. So they go through different regions. So it was completely darkness after they pass. The sun only shines up to a certain distance. So within that circular region where the sun can shine, that's life. Everything outside, there's no more life. But actually there's life. Point is that you can only see the civilization up to that point. And then the Lord travels out of that region with the horse, remember? If you read. So the Sudarshan Chakra lights the way until they come out of the universe shell. And then they go to Mahavishnu.
Is there only one sun?
Uh,
There's
In
only
the
one sun.
universe.
yeah, there's only one sun.
So
And
was-
Swargaloka is lighted by?
No, there's only one sun that is life-giving
Okay.
for the plants, for everything, like that.
That is within a universe, right?
within one universe.
And that is reflecting the I mean, that is getting the light from the Brahman.
The sun is getting the sun is actually getting the light from the Lord's Brahmajyoti.
The
Yes.
Sarvaloka and other scientific higher planets, they'll get light from sun.
They are still within the universe now.
So one of the proposals was staying strongly. Scientists are saying more than many
But
suns,
the
but there is not
daytime is
one.
6 months of hours, so they're closer to.
Why are you getting so confused about their thing? Worry about how to get out of this. Yeah, they are 6 months is our, I mean, their one day is our 6 months. And then their one night is our another 6 months. But that is only relative.
Yeah, because Earth is rotating also.
Yeah. It's just relative. From their point of view, their days goes 12 hours, night. It's just relative. And yeah, the time is different, that's all. But whether you're saying, oh, the sun comes around and then, no, for them it's different. The way the sun's, he rides a chariot, so he does it in a way that they have their day and night also. So some things you cannot understand because it's on a different, within the universe, from gross, things are more subtle in the demigods region. So if you want to know more, you can read Saraputra's description, cosmography, how, you know, it's a matter of time dilation. For us, the day goes so quickly. For them, they
I
look
think that's
down.
because Earth is rotating faster. Like compared to the other.
Yeah, I'm saying it's all relative. It's just relative. Whether it rotates fast or slow, it's all relative. It's a point where you are looking from. If you're looking from the sun point of view, these planets are rotating around the sun. If you look from the Earth's point of view, the sun is the Earth is going around the sun like that. The sun itself is moving also. You know, the sun is moving around the whole system, right? If you look at the chart, the axle or something.
Yeah, so there is Manasotara mountain.
Yeah.
On top of that, there is an axle, Shishimara. So in the scorpion form, there is and then there is a link there, and then the sun is traveling around the Brahmanda.
Yeah.
Like that. So therefore, from an earthly point, sometimes we think that it is day and sometimes night.
Yeah.
But actually, it's going around in a very big circle. And various planets are relatively in various positions.
Yeah, so then
If you look at
the
that small
demigod
picture-
planets, they have their 6 months. So just like we having 6 months, the planet turn this way then. So anyway, don't get confused.
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
not necessary. It's all clearly given in the later, somewhere I was reading.
But as you read more and more, and when you really want to study planetary, 5th canto, you can concentrate on that. Sarabutta Prabhu's books and his lectures, then you will get better understanding. I mean, I'm not a physicist, so I can't really explain some of these things. I don't want to attempt to. I'll wait until someone can give a very good explanation.
So the Mayapur temple of Vedic planetarium, will it explain somewhat?
Yes. Well, it's like that, chandelier structure. Text 9. येन प्रजानम् उत आत्मकर्म रूपाभिधानं च विदां व्यदत्त नारायण विश्वात् आत्मयोनि एतच्च नो वर्णय विप्रवर्य. O chief amongst the Brahmanas, please also describe how Narayana, the creator of the universe and the self-sufficient Lord, has differently created the natures, activities, forms, features, and names of the different living creatures. So he also wants to know how everyone is located within the universe, why some are demigods, some are lower life forms, and so on. So he wants to understand how was this done different? How were they created different? According to what he wants to know. it's interesting because in the purport, this some people may want to ask, and okay, first of all, let's just understand that the living beings, according to the modes, he is going to be placed in a certain body, certain planet, within the planet, certain family, and so on, based on his inclinations, based on his nature, and also based on his karma, like that. So everything is based on 3 modes plus his karma. And then, having said that, Prabhupada says, for example, the higher classes of men are white, Shukla, and the lower classes of men are black. So this immediately will cause some problem, right? Yeah. So you have to understand what Prabhupada is saying. So continuing, this division of white and black is in terms of one's white and black duties of life. I mean, Sattva Guna or Tama Guna. Not because it is because of one's color, no. It's not like that. Good example is India. In India, everyone is different color. Some are very white, some are black, and they are all got nice qualities also. What?
Why is it not different modes of nature, but why is Prabhupada saying duties of life?
Huh?
Why is he saying duties of life instead of modes of nature?
Why is saying? I am not sure why he's saying. I also try to figure
The
that out.
duties form based on the modes of nature only.
Which karma you follow?
Based on modes of nature.
Guna karma
Either they will be
viparasaha, right? Guna
a Brahmana. Based on the modes of nature, either there will be a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra.
No, he wants to know why Prabhupada wrote like this, white and black. Because that what causes a lot of problem. People question like that. But we shouldn't think like that. We should understand Prabhupada is just saying division of white and black. And then among the white they have their duties, and among the black they have their duties. Like that.
But regardless of whether we are white or black internally, if we follow the Varnashrama, we are liberated.
Yes. Yes.
Some Siddhi Hari Krishna.
So therefore he says pious acts lead one to take birth in a good and highly placed family. Now this one becomes even more tricky. Pious acts lead one to take birth in a good and highly placed family, to become rich, to become learned, and to acquire beautiful bodily features. Impious acts lead one to become poor by parentage, to be always in want, to become a fool or illiterate, and to acquire ugly bodily features. So this cannot be accepted by many people in the modern society because they don't accept karma.
Yeah, Ambedkar was saying that Bhagavad Gita cannot be followed because it talks about things like this.
Who?
Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, the liberator of the Dalits,
The Lord, like he
lower
was
caste.
Oh,
What was the comment?
After
His
Ambedkar.
comments was he does not believe this Bhagavad Gita and so on because
He
it has these
specifically said
distinctions.
that?
You go and look at some quotes. He has said a lot more things.
I know
Anyway,
he's
I will
a social worker, right?
doesn't matter what he says.
Comments, probably you were saying some comments.
It doesn't matter what these politicians say.
Yeah.
You have to see what the Lord is saying. The Lord says, Guna Karma Vibhadasha. So we have to follow according to that. And Prabhupada is saying this, and this has caused problem in our movement with some devotees and so on. And some other people, outside people who read, they feel that we are trying to be racist, discrimination, racism, all this other.
Yeah, recently in Hyderabad, one person was saying, "You people are too extreme."
Who you people are extreme.
Actually, we are extreme, and the topic itself
Yeah,
is very
it is
extreme.
extreme.
But they are also extreme
The other end, yeah.
in what they want to do.
No, actually, when you are confronted, you have to be able to diffuse the situation,
Yeah.
not argue with them.
Yeah, that's how.
So you have to know how to diffuse. So you have to explain this is what he means. He's not trying to be a racist. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's the same with women are less intelligent also. Very tricky. Cannot not easy to explain to a lay person. Not possible. Until you take up the process of devotional service, then for you, whatever is said there, what does it matter? I want to please Krishna. That mood is what we are trying to develop.
Prabhupada said if you are getting affected by that, that means you are also identifying
With the body, yes. If you get affected by the statements, then you identify them. Well, that is natural. Yeah. If you think you're a woman, then that's how you're going to behave. You think you're a man, you're going to behave. But if you think you're a servant of Krishna, you will only think of serving Krishna.
He told me Bhakti Tirth Maharaj also. I read in the Black Lotus book.
Oh, I don't.
I think when Bhakti Tirth Maharaj Swami joined the ashram,
Yeah.
and then he felt that people were, I don't know whether he joined, but in his initial days, so he felt that people were discriminating against him. So he went to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you said that, this is your philosophy, but this is what is happening over here. So then Prabhupada told him, if you are getting affected, means you are also identifying with the body.
Yeah, so it's tricky because, as I said yesterday, we are not really very advanced. And we are reading something which is so advanced. And then when we see something that our foolish brain cannot accept, only we rebel.
Reading stuff.
So therefore, when you deal with people outside, so much more they are fallen, no? So therefore, you don't go and bring this purport and say, this is how it is. No. You don't. Are you going to keep doing that?
Sorry, I'm gonna have to.
Work?
No, yeah, today evening's class, something like that.
Why is it so urgent?
Because we have the first session, we are closing some time. Okay, sorry.
You know I was coming, so you all should think carefully. Because you're disrupting. Why don't you sit there, then you don't disrupt?
One of the comments I was getting from my colleague, so are you totally into this? You don't eat garlic on them? I'm like, yeah. So they were like very surprised. And he's from Brahman caste. He said, I'm Brahman, but even he's Brahman, he follows something, but he smoke, so he doesn't eat meat. But they were very surprised when they say you're totally in this. So they want to find out, are you sure?
Yeah, because they have no good example. A lot of people who are caste brahmanas, they have no good example. So they just follow what their forefathers do and so on. So every generation something bad comes in, they continue with that. Whereas ours is not based on family or anything bad. It's based on love for what our Acharya wants us to do. Love for Krishna. Krishna wants us not to eat these things or not to do. So we cultivate those qualities. Okay, and no onion garlic. So we don't eat onion garlic. Right? And we don't want to give it up, but then the scripture says this is not good for us. More of passion, more of ignorance. So we don't want them. Okay, I want to develop more of goodness. So that's a good quality because you want to develop the proper things. That's what the scripture is saying. So like that, when you read statements like that, you shouldn't take it upon yourself and say this is not a good. Maybe it's not. It shouldn't be an issue for. You shouldn't use it for preaching. But if people read it, then you should be ready to explain what it means. Huh? And you can only explain up to your level of realization. And don't try to adjust. You say, more than this, I cannot explain. Be very honest with it, right? If they say, no, that's what, then you can say, look, that's how you are seeing. I'm telling you, you shouldn't see it that way. This is how I have been taught, and this is the way, one way of seeing nicely. What is the problem? What is your goal? Your goal is to find that this is a problem, or your goal is to achieve a higher position of consciousness. So you have to bring them out of that bodily concept also. So one of the reasons why every time you hear Prabhupada's class, he always emphasizes, you're not the body. Because this is very, very strongly prevalent in society. We are all conditioned thinking we are the body.
And he always smashed with the example like donkey, dog, and like in Hindi you say sewer, like a pig mentality. People follow
When
that.
you are like hogs, asses,
Yeah,
and
hogs and
camels,
castles,
glorify
dogs.
those who have no interest for this simple personality of God.
He
He
smashed
just read that verse.
And
So see, this point is Prabhupada is using that example.
the
For-
conditions for explaining this bodily concept.
okay.
Yes, Pavit Varahu Spakari.
Okay. So anyway, the it is from our understanding, pious acts lead one to good birth. If you do good things, you get good reaction. If you do bad things, you get bad reaction. So their argument will be why one must look good. That means they are good people, because that's how society looks like, right? So Bollywood stars and Hollywood stars, they go and do all the skin jobs and so on. So they all want to look good more than what they look, right?
I went to India just now.
So does that mean that they are pious? To some extent, yes.
Previous fighting. So I just went to India, and recently they were talking about Tendulkar, who is the cricket star, like a god. He received so many awards and this and that. And my brother-in-law was saying he is like a devata.
Yeah, that's how he's treated. The Bollywood stars are treated like demigods. But that's from previous karma. But what are their actions now? Are they behaving as piously as before, or they are worse than that? Yeah, so you have to see, according to that, they have some piety they're using up.
Yeah.
So we have to think like, okay, text 10. Paraverasham Bhagavan Vratani
Paravaresham Bhagavan Vratani
Sutani me Vyasamukada Vikshnam
Shrutani me Vyasamukadavisham
Atripnuva Shulla Sukhavahanam
Atrunura Shula Sukhavanam
Deshan Vide Krishna Katha Mritaga.
Desham Vrite Krishna Katham
O my Lord, I have repeatedly heard about these higher and lower statuses of human society from the mouth of Vyasadeva, and I am quite satiated with all these lesser subject matters and their happiness. They have not satisfied me with the nectar of topics about Krishna. So after talking about different things, he said, please talk about all this. Now he says he's not really interested in those things. His real desire is coming out. At first he was, as Prabhupada mentions, he is humble, so he didn't want to immediately say, I want to know everything about Krishna. So he comes in a winding way. He says, actually, I've had enough of these topics. I want to know more about Krishna. Prabhupada explains in the beginning of the first paragraph. Vidura explained to Maitra his position of being fully satiated. That means he is full, satisfied. With the knowledge of mundane, social, and political topics and having no more interest in them. Basically, he has heard enough of Mahabharata and the war and what has happened, Puranas and all. He wants more about Krishna. He was anxious to hear transcendental topics regarding Lord Sri Krishna. That's what he wants. Because there were insufficient topics directly concerning Krishna in the Puranas, Mahabharatas, etc. He was not satisfied and wanted to know more about Krishna. Right? So that is his desire, strongly. It's like we don't do that, right? When you go home, you don't ask your wife, what did you read about Krishna today? That's not our conversation. Right? We are so mundane. Correct or not? Okay, what happened? Did anybody call? What do you cook?
Like recently, even in the yatra, like the North Indian yatra, after the yatra, everybody was just talking some mundane stuff. One person took the shloka book and he continuously read the shlokas, and then he read Bhagavatam, then he went to sleep. So different.
Yeah,
people.
so we have to cultivate a system to be focused more on Krishna. I remember one when the devotees were speaking with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada told them how they should behave with one another. So I believe it was Hridayananda Maharaj. He got married, and then every day he would sit with his wife and have Bhagavatam class. So that's how he was dealing with his wife. So of course, anyway, that's what, how he attempted his. But it's not artificially, you can't do, because he wasn't happy for the wife. He said,
I
I
also
don't.
tried that once, Prabhu.
You also did, huh? It
It
didn't
worked for
work.
one day.
No, but if they only do that, Prabhu, then they should take care of other
No, we have to see, where each individual is, right? If your level of consciousness is very high, both of you, then yeah, you can discuss this topic. But if you artificially put yourself up in there and then your wife or your husband is not there, then it's not going to work.
Even while teaching Bhagavatam, the husband will try to
Teach.
Teacher
teach
position.
her, like, how to do this.
Domination. huh?
Dominate.
Or he wants to tell her what he is expecting out of her. Through Bhagavatam.
Molding.
Yeah, it's political.
Political.
So yeah, so you can see it's not like that in the case of pure devotees. They are more interested in, I just want to hear about Krishna. Tell me about Krishna. What did he do? How did he behave? What was his qualities like? So in the Puranas and Mahabharata, not much is discussed about Krishna. Huh? If you really look, it's not much information on Krishna is given. But in Bhagavatam, that's where you find everything. That's why it's very confidential. You don't find it in the other place. You find a small things here and there about Krishna and Arjuna or his devotees. Like that. Because if you have read all the Puranas, all the other supplements, and then Vedas, and then Mahabharata, then you can, if you have a big brain, you can join everything about Krishna and explain. And yeah, our acharyas are like that. Jiva Goswami was like that. And that's why he can explain who Krishna is in the Sandarbhas.
So when I was young, I used to go to a Balaji temple in Eluru, Andhra Pradesh. And one Sri Vaishnava used to come every night and used to teach Srimad Bhagavatam. And we used to hear, and a lot of people used to hear. But I have not seen any kind of transformation even after that hearing.
We discussed that yesterday.
Yeah. I was
At length,
I had my
yeah.
class or
You
whatever.
can listen to it. Yeah. And then later on, Prabhupada continues what Vidura, how he felt. Vidura wanted to hear of everything from Maitreya. So he inquired from him, but he desired that all the topics be in relationship with Krishna. As fire is never satisfied in its consumption of firewood, so a pure devotee of the Lord never hears enough about Krishna. That's the difference. Like for us, we are enthusiastic about if some Maharaj or some advanced devotee is coming to give seminar. First day we are fired up. By the second day morning or third day, we really want him to finish.
We are exhausted by the overdose.
Yeah, because we are not used to so much Krishna Katha, and we just have enough. Our capacity, our cups are so small, it's already overflowing. And then we want relief. The real relief is the nectar you hear of Krishna. But we have so associated with the material nature, we feel relief when we are in the Maya.
It's reverse.
Yeah,
It's natural condition.
it is conditioning. So that's how you're feeling. Artificially, we feel relief, but it's not real relief. It's a false state. Historical events and other narrations concerning social and political incidents all become transcendental as soon as they are in relationship with Krishna. That means Yukta Vairagya, right? Connect everything. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha. Yeah. So use it in a connection with Krishna. That is the way to transform mundane things into spiritual identity. Everything. You have no choice. The whole world can be transformed into Vaikuntha if all worldly activities are dovetailed with Krishna Katha. That's Prabhupada's wish. And it's doable. And we have to at least help people to take up Krishna consciousness. Little bit is enough. Little bit. You don't force people to do, okay, so you have to come tomorrow, you have to chant 16 rounds. Next day you see him, he's running away from you. Yeah, we're over enthusiastic. The way you transform a person is through your behavior. You cannot transform people. You're not like very powerful acharya who can change people. Even acharyas don't force people. They, by their behavior, they transform others. Yeah. That's how we have to do it. There are two important Krishna kathas current in the world. Prabhupada is saying Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna Katha because it is spoken by Krishna, whereas Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna Katha because it narrates about Krishna. Lord Chaitanya advised all his disciples to preach Krishna Katha all over the world without discrimination because the transcendental value of Krishna Katha can purify one and all from material contamination. So you should be reading at least chapters of Bhagavad Gita. One day, one chapter, Bhagavad Gita. Just the verses and translation. You can do it. Doesn't take more than 15-20 minutes long chapters. Short chapters, much short. So if you do that, you can finish the whole Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. No? Actually, this month is the month where Krishna spoke Gita. When is the Ekadasi? 18. So it will be Gita Jayanti.
I think we have function.
Anyway, this is also Gita Jayanti. So you can start reading the Bhagavad Gita, each chapter, verse and translation, every day for 18 days. So it's or you can do it in 11 days. So on the actual day you can. Of course, don't forget your verses. You need to memorize this. Text 11. Kastri nuyati tapado vidanat satreshu vasuri viryamana ya karnanadim purushasya yato Bhava pradange hiratim chinnati. Who in human society can be satisfied without hearing sufficient talk of the Lord? Whose lotus feet are the sum total of all places of pilgrimage, and who is worshipped by great sages and devotees. Such topics can cut off one's bondage to family affection simply by entering the holes of one's ears. So if we cannot give up all these things, that means we don't have any hole in our ear. Right? That's what it means, right? You can't cut off the bondage. Prabhupada says Krishna Katha is so powerful that simply by entering into the person's ear, it can at once give deliverance from the bondage of family affection. So he says family affection is an illusory manifestation of the external energy. Why does he say that?
Because that is what is keeping us tied to this material world.
You didn't answer the question.
You get to feel like you're the controller to try to enjoy.
You get to feel that you are controlling.
His mind will be always engaged in maintaining his family members.
Okay, his mind is always engaged in maintaining family members. That's what else?
You identify with the body.
Illusion. Family identifying with the body. You don't know?
These points.
He's pure true.
Huh?
Repeat the question.
Why? What did he say? Repeat the question.
I'm kind of, but I'm not getting.
Huh? You're not
I'm
getting?
not sure what you're looking for. So.
That's true. Unless you read my mind, you are not sure what I'm talking. I said why? Right? Why? Huh?
Family
Purpose
definition
and-
is-
What?
Because in that mundane love, we are motivated to do a lot of various activities in the realm of material nature. We think that is real love, but actually that's not that real love.
That's the principle on which the whole entire world is created.
See, bondage of family affection is actually temporary.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you die, you take birth again, you are in a different family. So what happened to the previous bondage?
All done.
Illusion.
Yeah.
Illusion.
So therefore it is a illusion. But we cannot understand this. Remember why we can't understand this? We are conditioned, attachment, all these things don't allow us to
Attached to it.
understand this thing. Now, if you are truly serious, you will understand actually this is a situation I'm in this life. This is my situation. I have to make the best use of my situation. Some of you are thinking bad bargain. No, it's a good bargain because you have an opportunity to be a devotee. Yeah. Better than an animal. But the problem is, it's still a temporary situation. Whichever family members you are with, it's temporary. So, as you understand more and more Krishna consciousness, you cannot become very attached to the situation. Case in point, Chitraketu, no? Harsha show.
He did so many marriages.
Huh?
He did so many marriages.
He did a lot. How many? Huh?
I don't know, 10 years.
10 million.
10 million.
I can't, it's a very big number like that.
Yeah.
So there is one lecture, and in that lecture, I probably said like, how much time he wasted in just getting married.
Maybe it was big yagna, 10 people at a time.
Nothing related.
So he
One
usually
village.
Each marriage is like 3
Yeah,
4
exactly. So whatever it is, right? You can marry 100 times or 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times. The point is, it's temporary. It's not a permanent situation. Therefore, all this is an illusory manifestation. Yeah, the happiness you derive also is temporary based on a mundane relationship. It's the same, right? Even if you are not Krishna conscious, you can see why whenever you have some difficulties with devotees or even non-devotees, what is it centered around? You will see. If you are very introspective, you can see it. Right? You can see what is this cause of this unhappiness for me now? Why am I feeling like that? Who is the source of my unhappiness? You will understand that you are actually your own problem. Yeah, you will come to that conclusion. I am, due to my foolish choices, I am now facing this situation.
So philosophy is understood, or at least superficially understood, but exit strategy is difficult.
No, that's why you have to start thinking. The moment you say, at the moment we are reading the philosophy, but we don't want to apply it.
It's just gyan.
That's why I said the first 2 cantos is enough.
To go back to that.
Yeah, because when you come to this is going deeper. But you're not ready yet because you're still on the bodily concept. Right? We are all like that. So it gets very tricky and then it's very hard to understand because we are still in the bodily concept. Therefore, some of the things we read, it's not revealed to us because we are still attached in a mundane way. This is, Bhagavatam is for who? Paramahamsas. Because of Prabhupada's mercy, who's a Paramahamsa, he's revealing to us on our level in the purports. But still, one has to rise above the three modes to get the full benefit. So Prabhupada is coaxing us. Don't become entangled in unnecessarily. Do your duty, yes. See, do your duty, but don't be attached to the results. Yeah. It's like your kid, you raise your child, daughter. Best, you show the love, affection, everything. But don't be attached to the result at the end. Don't think my daughter has to be like that, or right. Some parents, you have to be a engineer, doctor, lawyer. These are three things Indians know. Or now they will say software, because you can get green card. That's not how we should think. I mean, from mundane point, yes, I agree. Those are the goals. Fine, then go for it. But we are not in the mundane thing anymore. All of us have taken this choice, right, to be Krishna conscious.
Choice.
Right? We made choice.
Yeah,
So after having some made this choice, why we don't want to go the full extent? That is the secondary issue. I mean, the main issue now. Correct or not?
Yeah.
So if you want to help new people to become Krishna conscious, where is your Krishna conscious? Correct or not? So if you are very attached to some mundane things, and then you are helping someone, and yeah, they will be attracted because you're giving them some knowledge they don't know. But after having that knowledge, then they will look around and say, but you're not doing these things.
Yeah, follow.
You're doing some things, but you're not doing. And so they will lose interest. They'll say, you guys are all hypocrites. Mityachara. So therefore, you have to, once you're initiated, you have no choice, okay? you have this on, because you're representing Srila Prabhupada. So you are a reflection of Srila Prabhupada. Every mistake you do shows badly against him. Everything wonderful you do is not because you did it. It's Prabhupada's mercy. Yeah. So either way, you cannot take any credit. Or you can take credit for the bad choices. That's all. So therefore, Vidura's point is very easy to understand when we are properly situated. Such topics can cut off my hate also from attachment. Yeah. All this attachment, you know. You
So
really
how
think
can we
about it,
show-
right? In 20, 30 years' time, do you think you still be around? Do you think like that? You don't. You don't. You think you're going to be around forever. No, it's true. I'm seriously telling you, no? Sometimes, it's scary, right? When, let's say you're flying and the aircraft shakes a lot, then you're, oh God. Then you realize, oh my God, my life is precarious. And after you land and get out of the plane, finish, forget. Yeah, Avaranatka Shakti, it covers you. But when you chant carefully and when you contemplate what are the teachings of Prabhupada, what my Guru Maharaj wants, what I should be doing, when you think like that, then you'll stop discovering. There's no point knowing all the intricacies and quoting nice verses when you can't practice it seriously. I mean, I do encourage and I want you all to know verses and everything. But if you're not going to have a certain standard, at least some, what is the standard we all have to come to?
The rabbinical standard?
Madhyam Adhikari. Yeah. At least to Madhyam platform. Madhyam Adhikari is fixed in Krishna consciousness, at least. And he knows his scripture also to some extent. And he cannot waver. I mean, he cannot drop. That means he's convinced and he knows how to preach also. Because why? He's practicing it. You can only preach nicely if you practice it. It's a fact. It's a fact. Because your conviction cannot be there, right? If you haven't done it and somebody asks you, you're like, well, you try to twist around the whole thing. So, same with us. So, this is very important to understand, When we hear nicely, it will become effective. Hearing nicely means you will act on it. Not hearing when, okay, Sritidhar, I remember everything, but not acting on it. No. Real hearing means you will act on it. And that's a challenge because a lot of times we are so conditioned, we cannot act on it. And then you should cry. Why my condition is so fallen? Why am I so fallen? Because the reason most of us make mistakes because of a bad association. We keep associating with the wrong things. And therefore you don't have the determination. Right? Correct or not?
Yeah.
How does determination come?
Association.
Hmm?
Good association.
Yeah. And what
Discipline.
verse? What is the verse?
Seva.
Act of instruction. Huh? Utsavam nischay dhairya tat karma pravartane. Yeah, so many instructions are given there, but patience, tolerance, enthusiasm. You have to have enthusiasm first. Oh, I want to do for Krishna. All these things don't come. You can forget it. That means you will make progress, but not the way you want it. It's like you take 2 steps. For every 2 steps, you take 1 step back, or 1.5 step back, like that.
So in my limited view, when I look at the devotees who are here, they are mostly associating with each other. They have minimized external association to the point of almost not even talking to own family members and so on. And yet, where is this negativity coming from?
Our own mind.
Because you're not associating properly.
We're associating with our own mind.
Yes, your mind is your guru. You cannot allow your mind to determine what is right and wrong. You have to listen to authorities, guru. Then choices are based on that, not on your mind. And when you realize your mind is so strong, then you have to submit yourself to someone and say, help me.
For example, I see the devotees, they are doing
Seeing is one thing.
Shastri, they do morning altar service, evening altar service.
All that can be just done in a robotic way. Right? You can just set the alarm, get up and go there, and come back and then do nonsense. Right? Doesn't work. There is positive in it, but like I say, it's a very slow progress. If you really want to go in this lifetime, then you have to step out of the box. Because you have created yourself a nice comfort zone where you're willing to perform your things. Okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm cool. That means you're already satisfied in the material world.
No, but getting out of the box means what? Doing it full time, or because we are all part timers
Conscious.
practically.
Go out of the way a little bit. Gives extra time. Right now you're in the box, and comfort means I will give only 1 hour for a day, and then I don't want to go to temple because I have these things to do at home. Hey, give it once a week, give up one of those things and go and do some service. Right? Go and preach to somebody. You'll feel happy, and the person who hears will feel happy. It's true. Or when some sannyasi comes, go and listen. Everybody will log on to listen. Right? Some places they are in bed, they watch Mangala Arati and so on. Because it's life. Which means there's no strong desire to develop one's consciousness. Otherwise, what we are doing is we are only building bodily conception of life, which is what Prabhupada don't want us to get stuck in. He doesn't want it. It's so hard to even give this knowledge, right? You go out and preach. It's so hard. You see, it's not easy. We think it's so easy. It's not hard. It's not that easy. To get a person to accept this, that you're not the body, is so difficult. And sometimes people join because they like us, not because they understand the philosophy. They say, you guys are nice, you give me prasada, you treat me so nicely, you're better than my family members. So then they say, I want to do something for you. Then they do. After a while, they say, I want to get initiated like you also, because they want to be like us.
Same Haridas.
They may not have the inkling yet still, but they like to be around us, so they say, okay, chant 60. But you have to get out of that mold that we have covered around ourselves, for lifetimes.
Well, as you said, Prabhu, the mold seems right.
Yeah, then you become in the mode of goodness. Then you stay there. It's also, we don't want to be in the mode of goodness at all. We want to go beyond that. Shuddha Sattva.
So through association, you will know that this mold is.
Yeah, when
get
you
inspiration
see,
to break
who
it.
do you associate with generally? You'll associate with people who you feel comfortable with. And also, they are not going to tell you anything or push you. And that's stagnation itself. And then, birds of feather flock together in one sense. So everyone, and then when you don't make advancement, you all sit together and cry. Point is, you have to ask yourself, what am I lacking? What should I be doing, right? Keep your life such that, you do everything you need to do plus extras for Krishna, for my advancement. Now, this is going to be difficult for me, but if I only do a little bit once a week, it's my advancement. Oftentimes we can't because our mind is so strong, right? We say, okay, I'll do one extra service a week at the temple. You go there and then you do one time, somebody says something, I don't like this person, and boom, go back. Krishna is testing you to see, are you sincerely wanting to do service for me or you just a pretender? That's so many ways he can test us. He can easily, kick us anytime. But he just sees to show us where we are at. Every time you feel, man, I don't like this situation, then you ask yourself why. What is the thing that you don't like? The service, or you have some issues in your heart?
Yeah.
So when you really pull things apart properly, then you see the issues are again coming from yourself, because the service itself is for the Lord's desire. Regardless of what people shout, it's going to go on eternally, those kind of things. No, it's true. Today one person will say, another person will say something else. It's always like that. When did you ever see that the material world became blissful completely? Never. Never. Every day you look on the internet, everybody is dying. No news, right? If it's a good news, nobody wants to talk about it. Very rare. Right? When was the last time you told a devotee, you are such a good devotee, I'm so grateful for your association? Nah. You can't, because we don't know how to associate.
We think we are the best.
Yeah, that's right. You see someone best, you tell you're best. How can you please bless me so I can be like you, but not artificially, but meaning.
Times it's artificial.
Yeah, exactly. So then you should ask yourself, why am I doing this? You should ask yourself, why am I doing this? Otherwise, how can you walk around like Vidura? It's a revolution in your heart you need to start. And then if you are stuck in politics in the temple, right, everybody, why you joined Hare Krishna to be promoted as a temple president? Or promotion as a GBC? or a guru. This is all. Is that what we join? Honestly, did you join to go back to Godhead or all these positions? Naham Vipranacha Narapati Navi Vaishuna Sudra. All these are designations. No, those are other upadhis. Yeah. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, right? He says that. Yeah, he just wants to be what? Gopir Bardhu Pada Kamali Dasa Dasa Anudasa. Not even directly to Krishna. Servant of the servant of the servant. So are you behaving in that sense, right? So we have to ask ourselves, why I'm not doing that? I don't like this guy, I don't like this girl, I don't like her face, I don't like his face. So then issues are not serving. The issues are ego problems. And it's false. First you have to serve, but if the person, then there are situations where the person you're serving, it can be an idiot themselves. But that's a different matter altogether. Because from your point, you know you are serving. When you become intelligent, Krishna will give you the intelligence how not to have confrontations. Right? Sometimes a devotee you are working for, serving together, they will say, oh, Mataji or Prabhu, what do you think I did? And you are like big advanced person say, I didn't like the way you did this and that. They may not like that. Right? Then they will cry or they'll go and tell their husband or their wife, they didn't like, they said this problem, right? It's a common situation. Then you'll find out from the grapevine that you hurt that person. Then what are you going to do? You'll say, I don't care, this is a fact. No, you can take the humble position, right? And call up and say, look, I made a mistake, sorry. I shouldn't have said that, I am sorry. Apologize. And the next time, if they ask again, then you have to be intelligent enough and say, I'm sure Krishna liked it. What does it matter whether you like it or not? Correct or not? Try to see, will Krishna like it? Will the general population like it? In that sense. If it's terrible, then no choice. But small things, I'm sure Krishna liked it. Oh, if they ask you, why don't you ask in the temple, Harivilas Prabhu, I'm sure he can give you better feedback. Avoid confrontation. Why you need to confront? Unless somebody is under your jurisdiction, that you have to guide them and so on. Then only you can correct. Right? Don't be a guru when you're not a guru. You're a guru. Text 12. Muni vivakshu bhagavad gunanam Sakapite Bharatamaha Krishna Yasmin Nirnam Gramya Sukhanuvadai Mati Grihita Nuhare Katayam. Your friend, the great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, has already described the transcendental qualities of the Lord in his great work, the Mahabharata. But the whole idea is to draw the attention of the mass of people to Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, through their strong affinity for hearing mundane topics. So basically, he's saying the Mahabharata is designed in such a way to attract common people with the stories. Yeah. I like Mahabharata stories. Because we are in this mundane world. Therefore, we are attracted to this kind of stories. But after you hear, and then you understand Krishna is Supreme Lord, then you want to know what Krishna's main thing in the Mahabharata, which is Bhagavad Gita. So, in a sense, Vyasadeva expertly arranged everything and then he focused on that instruction, solid instruction. if people are intelligent enough, they will read them. But most people will avoid the Bhagavad Gita section. They just want to see how well they fought. It's true. Right? It's true. How the Bhagavad beat each other and so on. Which is the consciousness that is prevalent nowadays. How to beat the other guy nicely. Isn't it? Isn't it? You look at all the movies, all beating the
Each other.
hell out of the other guy, right? Huh?
Start from childhood.
Starts from child. Yeah, even the games, everything is beating up or killing, right? PS2, 4, 6, whatever. Xbox. Huh?
Competitions, exams, college.
Very few, very few places you see, right? Hardly you find any good things to enliven people nowadays, right? The common understanding is if something is a problem, you smash it, and it's no more a problem, isn't it? That's the idea kids grow up with nowadays. Oh, if I get more money, which is what the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita talks about, right? The demonic qualities is if I got more, I can.
So much,
Yeah,
and I will have so much.
yeah. In the purport, towards the end, Srila Prabhupada writes, the great author has compiled the Mahabharata in such a way that the less intelligent class of men who are more interested in mundane topics may read the Mahabharata with great relish, and in the course of such mundane happiness can also take advantage of Bhagavad Gita, a preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam or the Vedanta Sutra. There you go. That's a very nice way to introduce the real thing behind Vedas. It's a very nice way to introduce. Now, of course, people will read this and say, why am I a less intelligent person if I read Mahabharata? What's wrong with that, right? So how are you going to at least make them understand? Damodar Prashad? You've been not paying attention?
I just had it for last month.
How about the predominantly deals with Dharma?
Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Okay.
And there is
The guy will ask you, so what is wrong with Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha?
there is something beyond
What is that?
this love for Krishna.
Why is that more than the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha? I'm happy. My family is happy.
Those are all temporary.
Hmm?
Those are all temporary.
Yeah, so you have to make him understand all them. So these are for only one lifetime. Do you want to go through the difficulties again and again? An intelligent person will say no.
No, the lesson here in sense of like not looking for a permanent solution.
But that's what we are talking about.
Let me see the temporary.
Yes. Srila Vyasadeva had no interest in writing a history of mundane activities other than to give less intelligent persons a chance for transcendental realization through Bhagavad Gita. Now, we read in the first canto, how was Vyasadeva feeling?
Unhappy.
Yeah, he was feeling
Dissatisfied.
unsatisfied because he was feeling compassion for the conditioned soul. He wasn't happy with what he did. And that's why Narad Muni came and told him, you have to write about Krishna. Then you will be happy and you'll know this is the right thing. Because you are indirectly pointing to Krishna and it's not going to work. 90% of the Vedas are aimed at karma kanda activities. 95%. Vidura's reference to the Mahabharata indicates that he had heard, I like this sentence, Vidura's reference to the Mahabharata indicates that he had heard of the Mahabharata from Vyasadeva, his real father, while he was away from home and was touring the places of pilgrimage.
So if somebody follows Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, which is like now using the 95% of Karma Kandya section, is it even possible to come to Moksha?
Yeah, you can.
So
It takes a long time. A long.
people make so many mistakes along the way.
Yeah,
that they are
so that's why it
continuously in
takes
the
a
cycle.
long time. Because if you do it nicely, you slowly advance in your consciousness.
And then I get attracted to this.
Yes, and if you come to the platform of mode of goodness and then you continue doing all these activities, if you hear about Krishna, you will be attracted to Krishna because he's Atmarama. Even one who is like an Atmarama, he is even attracted to information about Krishna. Text 13. Shashradanasya vivadamana virakti manyatra karoti pumsha hare padanusmriti nirvritasya samasta dukkhapyayam ashudatte. For one who is anxious to engage constantly in hearing such topics, Krishna Katha gradually increases his indifference towards all other things. There you go. Such constant remembrance of the Lord's lotus feet of Lord Krishna by the devotee who has achieved transcendental bliss vanquishes all his miseries without delay. It is effective. It's a fact actually. If you are seriously doing service and chanting and hearing, this will affect you. Even when you're going to bed, this will come to you. Thoughts of Krishna and all slokas, everything will come to you. I mean, just as you're getting up, those things will come again in your mind. Those topics, what you have read, everything will come. Which means you become less interested in mundane activities, and you will do those mundane activities because you will do what is as duty, what is required, and you will do it. But your greater interest will go towards Krishna. It's that real. Yes.
I have a question. So it relates to this one also from the previous verse too. So is that we have to go to bhakti to the mode of goodness. We can directly jump as we hear.
No, you can. You can directly do, but you have to give up those things that are holding you back. When you are doing devotional service, it's beyond mode of goodness.
Yeah.
But because you are not, let's say you are someone who just came from the street doing all nonsense. So it takes some time for you to actually do it nicely also. Right. So that means as you do it, you also come to a mode of goodness, performing devotional practice. And because you are thinking, I'm doing it for Krishna, that activity is beyond mode of goodness. Your behavior will change because you know Krishna don't like me to be like this, like that.
So then you will gradually keep going.
Yes.
The impetus will be top down.
Yeah. The Lord will be, Divya Gyan. He will give you intelligence. Dadami Buddhi Yogam. Of course, that person is advanced, so he gives them that intelligence to come to him. But in the beginning, he will direct through Guru, Chaita Guru, or external Shiksha Gurus to guide you to come to more of at least goodness. If you just do sadhana bhakti without thinking of going back to God, you will come to more of goodness anyway. Yeah. At most, that's what you'll come to. But if you really seriously want to love God, then you will make a lot of advancement. Now, let's say you perfect your sadhana bhakti, but you don't think about Krishna at all. Yeah. Then remember in Nectar Devotion, what happens? You become? What will happen? No, you will progress to Vaikuntha. You won't go to Krishna. If you perfect your sadhana bhakti.
So one more question. There's so much detail about the devotional service process and devotees read all this. and they still make mistakes, appreciates to the child.
Yeah, so if it's Abhijit Sudhar Acharo, then you respect them. If it's not done on purpose, you respect them. But if it's done
But it's very
purpose,
thin line between purpose and
well, Krishna will weed them out. Yeah. If the person is sincere but weak-hearted and weak-minded person, then yeah, they'll keep falling many times, but they are sincere. So you don't judge them.
but the consequences of falling, their falling impacts other people.
Depends on their position. For example, you are not advanced, but you take the role of a guru, and then you keep falling every time. Every time you walk by a liquor store, you go in and drink a shot like that. Then the disciples say, "Guru, why are you doing like that?" "Oh, I just have this bad habit." So then the impact with the disciples would be very bad. But if you are like that and you don't want to be a guru, but you just want to get free of these addictions and so on, and you try, but you're weak and you keep falling down, then at least the fact is that you're trying. And Krishna is happy that you are trying. It may take a long, long while. Maybe it'll take a whole lifetime. Maybe it will take a couple of lifetimes. But the sincerity must be there. And you have to accept the consequence. Yes, I have to go through suffering. But don't cheat other people. Don't go and say, "Oh, I'm better than you." No, you're not. Always take the humble position. It's like, just because I'm going through the Bhagavatam doesn't mean I'm better than you. It's just that situation is like that. It's not that, I'm better than you. There may be so many other qualities you have that you are much, much better than I am. You understand? So like that, we have to see every devotee in our society. They may not be good in some things, but they may be better in so many other ways. Of course, not good to judge people. Always give them if they are doing something nicely, yes, they are great. Because what is Krishna saying?
Yes, appreciate it.
What is Krishna saying? Huh?
Sincerity.
Yeah, the sincerity. Krishna is only saying how sincere you are.
Saying Mahavrai.
Huh?
Saying the intention of that service. Is doing with that.
Yeah, of course, that's a given. Service must be done properly. So yeah, Abhijit Sudharaja applies to a sadhu. Right? Krishna says he is still a sadhu if he is sincere. Huh?
Sincerely practicing.
And he wants to practice properly. He knows he made a mistake. He's not thinking about doing the mistake, but he is very weak.
So collectively as a movement, our problems, whatever scale they are in, is because of a few instances here and there in every congregation.
Which movement in the world doesn't have problem? Right? If you take the President of the United States, many of them do nonsense, the presidents. Those who got caught,
got caught.
got caught. Otherwise, the others think they are what, superhumans or advanced personalities? No. So which movement? Even if you take any other religious movement, you are saying they have no problem?
There's a lot more.
Yeah. So there are problems in any movement. And Prabhupada says particularly when you are at war with Maya, there are many casualties. So yeah, devotees will fall and so, but we shouldn't see lesser of them. There's so many of our gurus in the past have fallen, but they've done so many wonderful service as well. So in the end, what will Krishna see? You do not know, I do not know, but Krishna knows. And Krishna is also going to see how the guru felt towards the disciple. Was Prabhupada pleased with his disciples? Yes, definitely. So Krishna will say, okay, you got a free pass. Krishna can do anything.
what about the remnant of those, the kuta or the bijas which are still there? I mean,
Yeah. So
externally we have recovered them
No.
to the board of goodness, but the
if
bijas,
Krishna wants to take you back, he will arrange for you to burn those prarabdha karma,
through suffering or through just vanish?
aprarabdha karma, kuta, bija, either through suffering or just one time burning,
Grace.
or grace or mercy.
Sometimes in mind,
Huh?
sometimes in mind that person goes through.
Or you have a dream where you do nonsense and then you wake up, I wish I had never done this. So you burn your karma like that. So Krishna can arrange so many ways that you become pure. In your heart, you didn't want to do, but in your dream, you're doing the nonsense. You wake up such feeling so bad. It's possible. He can arrange, he can do the most inconceivable thing. Why do you even suspect? Isn't it? That's why he's the Supreme Lord. So if he wants to take you back, no one can stop him. Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rake.
Because we see each other like that, so that's how we think Krishna is.
Yeah, that is why when you read the Bhagavatam, you understand the position who Krishna is. The more you understand Krishna, the more you feel useless or insignificant. That must develop in our hearts. And then you realize he is our ultimate well-wisher. Right? And then everyone is his favorite in some ways. Because if you go back to Godhead, right?
Little Krishnas.
Huh?
Little Krishnas.
Yeah, everyone is dear to Krishna. So in the same way, even the activities you do may not be the best, but Krishna likes you for some reason.
Towards,
Hmm?
even though towards asuras he is not,
No.
he's not.
Remember we read earlier on when he saw Duryodhana's broken, how he felt very unhappy, Krishna. So we cannot, think like that. He has, he really loves us. His love for us is greater than our love for him. At the point when our love supersedes or comes to his, that's like the gopis.
Prabhupada also state like Krishna loves equally everybody, all living entities. For devotees, he favors.
That's different.
special.
We discussed that in the Bhagavad Gita as Paramatma and as Bhagavan. Right? As Paramatma, he is equally treating everyone. That means he has love for everyone. As Bhagavan, he can show special love to you as opposed to someone who's not worshipping him. That's like a father, right? You'll be more loving to your daughter than to your niece who comes and stays with you.
Father,
Yeah,
Prabhupada gives that
Same,
example.
same.
Natural, a father can give
Yeah.
very more sharp and fire is in.
And even among your own children, that child who's more caring for you, you will naturally have more affections. So that's how devotees are. Anyway, okay, this is also very important. We must certainly know that on the absolute plane, Krishna Katha and Krishna are one and the same. On the absolute plane. The Lord is the absolute truth, and therefore his name, form, quality, etc., which are all understood to be Krishna Katha, are non-different from him. Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Lord, is as good as the Lord himself. No difference. When a sincere devotee reads Bhagavad Gita, this is as good as seeing the Lord face to face in his personal presence. Now, this is another way, because a lot of time people will say, have you seen Krishna? Remember the story with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Brahmana in South, where he was reading the book or looking it upside down? Because he was seeing Krishna personally. So if you're sincerely reading Bhagavad Gita every day or Bhagavatam daily, then it is as good as seeing the Lord face to face, because it's non-different. One day you will see Krishna looking at you and you looking at him in the pages. Every page you see Krishna. Actually, for that matter, every word in the Bhagavatam is Krishna. Even Prabhupada's purport is Krishna. Krishna is there. You cannot see at the moment. We cannot see at the moment. But he's there. Because Prabhupada is seeing Krishna every moment. So whatever he writes is Krishna. He's empowered. So he's revealing Krishna. So at the end of the paragraph, Prabhupada writes, the pure devotee of the Lord enjoys life by constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord by hearing Krishna Katha. For such a devotee, there is no such thing as material existence. And the much advertised bliss of Brahmanda is like a fig for the devotee who is in the midst of the transcendental ocean of bliss. It becomes insignificant, the material existence, because he is only focused on serving Krishna, that's all. And such a person is already liberated. Yarasya hare dasya karmana manasajita Nikulaswati avastasu jivan mukta sa uchyati. Everything is for Krishna, sees Krishna. Even when he is talking to a person, he's seeing Krishna, send the person to me, he's seeing Krishna, he's coming as the person, as a guest, I have to take care nicely. For Krishna will not be happy if I don't take care of them. That's how they will think. The whole consciousness is different. Whereas when somebody comes, we think, why this guy came? Now I have to make him sit down and give him something to eat and drink. Or when will he go? And then you keep looking at the watch, indicating to the other person. So for a liberated person, this is the situation. So now you understand why going beyond first, second canto is not so easy. Huh? The levels is really getting deeper and deeper. The situation. Text 14.
So there was a question. There's an interesting question. One of the students was asking this question, that Krishna talks about it. There's a lot of good qualities that we have to develop in the Bhagavad Gita. And even in 18th chapter, he's talking about so many good qualities of Brahmanas, which is, I think, mode of goodness, peacefulness, tolerance, etc. Or doing your duty just to do the duty. So, his question was that, okay, let's say I want to control my anger. I know I've not been able to do so. So now, if I just keep doing, I don't think I can control it. So I'm just going to keep doing devotional service, and it'll take care of it. So I'm just, I can't do much about it. So he was saying, is that okay? I'm just going to leave it like that.
No, yes. You see, it depends on, I do not know exactly what kind of angry person this person is, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it depends. If someone has a terrible anger, then I would suggest they go and see a specialist. It doesn't mean if you're a devotee, then you don't take care of some problems, right? If you got a terrible illness like TB, you can go and sit in front of Nilamada and chant in the cold temple room. You think you'll get better?
Yeah.
No, Krishna expects you to go and see a Vaidya to get yourself right medicine and get yourself cured. So the same way, if you have a problem, you own the problem.
Yeah.
So go and see seek some professional help. Don't put the onus on Krishna and say, you are the Lord, you take care of me. But who are you? You're not even a pure devotee yet.
Yeah.
And that, in any case, a pure devotee never asks the Lord to come and take care of them, unless they are in a situation where they don't like to say it, but if they say it, it must be really terrible. Yeah. Generally, they don't. Yeah. So when he needs to understand, he has a problem. He needs to figure out how to solve it. Talk to some professional help. Now, if after having researched properly and done some treatments and it doesn't help, then he can say, Krishna, I tried. As far as I know, I tried every avenue. Now my anger is at your lotus feet.
It's a question of making sincere attempt on our side
Yes.
to develop these qualities
Yes.
also. At
Yes.
the same time, while chanting, if you say, okay, if I don't make the attempt to be more tolerant or stop my anger or do my duty nicely, then I almost thought like it was like, maybe.
For
the
example,
offense-
let me ask you: if your friend, let's say the whole world situation changes and he is captured by some people, right? And then they tell him, if you shout, we'll kill you. So then, first time he shout, they cut his
it won't.
one finger off. Then they say, you do it, we'll cut every finger. You think he will get angry?
Yeah,
What will he do? He'll tolerate, right?
Yeah,
So the capacity to tolerate is in the individual.
yeah, something.
So similarly, if one takes up devotional service, the capacity to go back to Godhead is already there. The empowerment is already there. It's a question of whether how much willing we are wanting to follow. That is sincerity.
Yeah.
That is called, then the Lord becomes your friend when you do it. Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati. Then he becomes your well-wisher. See, I tell you now, as you will see, if you are very intelligent, you look. People are very intelligent nowadays also. They have every excuse they can come from the book. They have all kinds of courses, right? You all go for all time courses. So in the courses, they develop all this way of thinking. Cheating propensity.
Yeah,
So then they use it when it comes to their own spiritual life also.
yeah. Eating.
They don't want to do anything. They want a free go. Just like they ride motorbike,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I
All
mean.
they want to fly in the bike like that. It doesn't work like that. Then in the last line, did I read that? Yes, I did. Text 14. Tan chocha socha navido nusoche Hare katayam vimukana Chinoti devo nimishastu yesham Ayurvritavada gati smitinam O sage, persons who, because of their sinful activities, are averse to the topics of transcendence and thus ignorant of the purpose of the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, are pitied by the pitiable. I also pity them because I see how their duration of life is spoiled by eternal time, while they involve themselves in presentations of philosophical speculation, theoretical ultimate goals of life, and different modes of ritual. This is practically what's happening nowadays in the universities, in big circles, right? Stephen Hawking, people like that, or the other guy, Dawkins, Duck. Yeah. So all these people are like that. Dawkins. So we can see, and what is the significance in here? You can see Vidura pities such people also. This is another quality of a devotee. He pities the people who don't have the opportunity for Krishna consciousness. Do we pity? We ignore. Right? Correct or not?
You feel superior.
You feel superior, good. We ignore them. Huh? Essentially, Bhagavatam wants us to change our hearts. Again, I'm saying it's called self-realization. You have to realize you need to change. No, that's what it is. You realize I have to do these things, and then you realize your real, true nature in that.
It's soft.
Huh?
You feel soft-hearted. You're feeling compassion.
You will feel soft-hearted if you do it properly. Then when you see someone struggling, you will go and say, do you need help? That softness of heart. Oh, don't worry, I'll help you what I can. You want some prasad? Always bring some cookies with you so you can always give to somebody. Right? You all don't do this. Why? Because you don't want to give people Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, there's always opportunity.
Why? Don't give excuses. Right? Why don't you? Your wives can cook big, nice prasad. Why don't you all make cookies and then give to devotees or to your work? Or even whenever you see some guy, always they'll have signboards, right? And the light asking for money or whatever. You can always give prasadam. Huh?
Just lazy.
Not lazy. You're like what is it? Like a tortoise in the shell. We withdraw ourselves. The more devotional we become, the more we withdraw from the material world. But Prabhupada don't want us to withdraw. He says, go and help. It's true we should withdraw from the material nature, but we are supposed to help at the same time. Otherwise, you find when people don't have this mercy on them by us, they will waste time on philosophical speculations, theoretical ultimate goals of life. Right? Look at Bill Gates. Yeah, so he's gone to philanthropic activities. Why? Why didn't he take up Krishna consciousness? You guys were working there.
Name, fame, status.
Philanthropy also gives the satisfaction that I am
Controlling. I'm helping, yes.
I'm helping, name, fame.
to take to Krishna consciousness. We have to take that position that Krishna.
Prabhu is talking about why we
Why
couldn't
we are
do
not
something.
That's what
he is.
No, we're not lazy. I don't think most of you are lazy. I don't think so. I think it's because you don't have the compassion and the
taste.
Not going on the
Right.
direction.
going out of the box.
Right.
Actually,
Courage.
The courage.
The courage will come when you develop your Krishna consciousness. One of the things you read in the 13th chapter, right, Bhagavad Gita, verses 8 to 12, one of the things is fearlessness. And then Prabhupada is Abhaya Charana. So we are his follower. So, we should.
So what how, I didn't understand what is fearlessness here.
You don't
Going
get
out.
out to. If you feel sorry for somebody, you shelter yourself.
No, what is the fear that is blocking us?
Exactly. You have a fear to preach, you have a fear to share. You're afraid of your own philosophy.
convictions.
Huh?
Insufficient convictions are not
strong faith. Strong faith. in our
Insufficient
own.
conviction leads to
Yeah.
Yes.
Insufficient conviction.
will lead to fear.
And also doing something different from what we are used to doing for so
Possible. You are so habituated to doing something and you would do, let's say your work requires you to go and sell some stupid device, you will go around selling it. Right? But when we want people to give Krishna consciousness, we can't do it. We all go through this mental anxiety.
I think part of it is it's not that easy to. I've given books to my colleagues. They've given those books back to me.
Yeah.
I've given prasadam. After a while, they stopped eating like that. So many.
Yeah, because you made it clear it is prasadam.
No, I never made it clear. It's just lunch. I used to share my lunch
Yeah, okay. Now they don't eat because?
for whatever reason, and then now I'm not even in that situation. I'm in a different situation. I'm
No,
not in the
it's
same-
okay. You can always give cookies. They have coffee area, right? Just go and put all your cookies there, it'll disappear.
Yeah.
So Prabhu, another reason may be like having not having strong faith on the
That's what they probably say.
Vani, like Vani was a guru, not having strong faith in guru or scripture, because then scripture is saying you,
It's same.
but we
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
that strong faith.
Yeah, it's just conviction. So you have to, alone you can't do it. So you need to go in groups. Like you see the Mormons, right? They don't go alone. They go in pairs. Right? They come around here also, right?
Yeah,
Zero
yeah,
one business.
Yeah, they're nice people.
Mormons. What they call
They're nice people.
But the Jehovah's Witnesses force.
They're not so bad.
Yeah, but they force.
So once I gave to my general manager in Microsoft Journey home book.
Hmm.
So he read 3/4 of it. He gave it back to me, and after that, his attitude towards me wasn't very good.
You should have given some prasadam. He would have been happy with it.
So he felt that I'm
Trying to
not a hardworking person anymore. I'm all thinking about sadhus and this and that. So
exactly. He's an Indian,
an American,
Okay.
John Keynes.
but
He's
he,
still a GM at Microsoft. But his attitude changed. The moment I gave him that book, he felt that I'm not a hardworking person anymore.
it depends on how you presented it also.
So now I don't give books because books are dangerous.
No, it's not like that.
Maybe at the workplace and
It's how you did it, I feel. I think it's how you did it.
each person is different also now. Just the one here.
Yeah.
We have to know.
Because books are like time bombs, right? So for some people it triggers in 3 seconds, some people it takes 30 years.
Well, that's why you have to know how to do it also. Particularly, when you are doing to somebody, you have to find out where his thinking is. You can do it to a friend because they know you. You are not friends with your GM. Yeah. So you have to know. If it's only a one time you meet him and that's the end of the story, it's fine because the book is like a time bomb. It's different. He may not read it, but someone else will. But if you are there working for him and then you're pushing this, he may have asked other people in the meeting, this guy gave me a book, and they'll say, yeah, he gave me this book also. I say, what is he doing? Like that. Huh? It's a possibility. We do not know. We are just speculating on this. Yeah. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Time, place, circumstances.
You can give.
No, under the excuse of time, place, circumstance, you
Yeah.
end up doing nothing.
You
You
can
can do something.
You have to see
We learn like
situation.
that. But when we have such experience, then we can learn and then
Yeah.
do
So
it
you
in a
know,
different way.
you don't know your GM very well. That's what you learned. So you have to, next time you give, you have to know the person. Yeah. Develop a relationship. Books can only be given here unless you're just doing street books. That's different. With your work environment, you have to have a good relationship where they don't mind you and they know what your practice is and so on.
You want to create an appreciable situation.
Yeah. So these are something you have to think about. But apart from that, you need to develop compassion also. That's
So compassion, the receiver of compassion will take it only if he thinks that we are superior to them. If the person thinks he's
No,
superior
not
to us, then he
true.
won't
Not
take
true.
it. They'll say, oh, this fellow is, he
You're
works for me, what
talking,
can he
yeah,
do?
you're talking about work environment. I'm not talking about work environment.
But all these
If
things,
they know you very well,
We only have two environments, Prabhu. One is work, one is temple.
no,
There's
I'm
no
saying
third environment.
if your relationship even in work environment, if they know who you are, then there's no such thing as higher or lower anymore. They know you. Now, for example, if you really know your friends and if you're really compassionate, do you know his family situation? Do you know his children? Do you call up to wish them well? Do you do that?
Friendship. I had the same situation with my boss. He was like 4 years. He's an Indian. Once in a while he comes to the temple. So we were moving out. So he's going to a different team and I'm going to. So all of us wanted to pull money and then give. They were asking for me to pull in like $20-30 to give him buying a present. I said I had a special present for him. So I excused myself and then I gave like Bhagavad Gita and Krishna book to him. Because after that he is going to some other team, I am going.
Yeah.
He thanked me for that.
Okay.
He's like,
Yeah, at farewell moments you can do
Farewell
this,
moment
because
I
they will know more touch.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is, if you really have a relationship with someone, you can do many things. Right? If you have a very good friend, you can shout and scold the person. The person knows why you are shouting, and they won't take it personally. But if you don't know someone and you shout at them, they'll say, "Who are you to shout at me?" Like that. So it depends how you are, what kind of person you are in your work environment. Everybody says, oh, he is such a wonderful person, then you must be a wonderful person. But if everyone says, oh, all he does is push his books, that's how it is.
It's a very important point. So you have to tell how do we develop that friendship, and then with that they can take it. We don't have any
Yeah,
friendship
if you don't
also,
have a
those
connection,
things, even you have a big thing to give,
They
they will
will-
not accept
they
it.
won't like it.
And they
So
will-
anyway,
But today's work connection is just delivery. That's all. There is no real connection. The fellow doesn't even want to see your face, right? It's all
so
about
you
email and-
develop a relationship. You are now in the paradigm. I'm telling you, shift it.
And they'll appreciate it also because they are tired of that just
Yes,
delivery.
yeah.
They'll be happy with the connection too.
I've tried. I've tried so much for years and years. I've tried, Prabhu.
That's
I'm
fine.
giving you a personal experience of, dealing with
That's
coworkers.
maybe that's all you can do.
I hope Krishna understands.
Yeah. So just keep doing that.
I've done my job, Krishna.
No, you haven't done your. So I'll keep doing my job.
It's the beginning. It's the beginning.
You should say, okay, I'll keep doing my job. So I thought we'll stop here. Then we'll continue after lunch at 2:00. Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gaur